Everybody, happy Friday. I'm glad you're here. It's a beautiful day. It's not raining, but a little overcast and cool, and I'm looking forward to the change in seasons, and I'm glad you're here with me. I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I help women who are in toxic and narcissistic relationships really get their head back in the game, get their energy back, their body feeling better, changes. If someone's looking to leave a relationship that they're in, if they're looking to start a relationship on a healthy foot, if they're looking to heal the health conditions they have caused by stress from having a narcissist in their life, either a family member from the past when they were a child, or they find that they're surrounded by narcissists at work or in other parts of their life, I help you really figure out the things to do that put you on a right track so that you can really be happier than you've ever been before and create relationships that you never thought existed and really learn how to navigate this stuff, how to create the relationships and the connections that you've always wanted, even if it's not now, even if we're looking at the next thing you do or when you're ready or the next chapter of your life. One of the biggest challenges that people get caught up in is that they don't realize the steps between things are much smaller than you expect. You know, that progress is what matters most, and then things kind of align up underneath the progress. And so today we're going to be talking about one of the last things you know before you are leaving a narcissist. You know, we've been talking all week about how, you know, there's a lot of advice out there, and the advice says, go no contact, walk away, nothing ever again. You know, this is tricky for most women because we're in relationships that have lasted 30, 40 years. We're in situations where there's children involved or financial dependence, or, it's your mom. What are you going to do? Get rid of your mom? You know, or it's your last surviving family member, or it's your child. Life is so much more complicated than, just saying, well, you just need to leave, that's your only choice. You know, life is a lot more complicated than that. So it's really important in order to, get the things that you've always needed, get the things that you didn't get when you were a kid. It's important to get those before you move forward, because otherwise, you're walking into the old dysfunction that you carry with you, with all of the things that got you into these relationships in the first place, the beliefs and the ideas and the experiences that shaped your thinking, that put you into the position where you're afraid of a narcissist or overwhelmed by emotion or debilitated by stress. Because you're trying to handle this very self-absorbed toxic person. So you need to get these things in place. You need to get, your life sort of sorted out. And then when you're far enough along, then when you are in a more stable, structured place, when you've got more control over you, then you start looking at the next step. Then you start looking at, okay, how do we make this work? Whether it's leaving or staying, whatever it may be. So the fifth thing we're talking about today is how you start exposing yourself to new ideas and new experiences. I'm going to talk a little bit about phobias today. So, I remember from my earliest memory, reading stories about people who had phobias about, spiders or heights or things along those lines. Things which, as soon as they saw this or heard about it or were exposed to it, they were placed into this position almost of PTSD. And phobias have a lot to do with PTSD. They have a lot to do with what's going on with you and the reasons why it's so hard to make a change, why it's so hard to leave, why it's so hard to, make a decision and stick with it. It's the same sort of thing. Our bodies and minds create an association when we're children in order to be efficient to the things that will keep us safe. And so when we were a child, we needed to be able to keep ourselves safe. And we had the experiences and we had these beliefs and we absorbed them all in. And for many of us, You know, the idea of if I just follow the rules, then things will turn out okay. Well, when you get older, you start realizing that that's not necessarily true, that you carry a lot of rules, you carry a lot of experiences, which are only one small part of the truth. They were only a part of the truth that were true for the family that you were living in. They weren't a bigger picture of what the world looks like. And so in order for you to have that confidence, in order for you to feel like you're making the right decisions, that your intuition is good, that you're on the path that'll take you where you want to go, in order to do that, you have to start having new experiences, and you have to start exposing your mind to new ideas. You know, I used to run a women's circle with a few other women. There were 3 of us that were kind of co-leading it. And I would tell women, you know, the most important part, and it always was, and it still is the fact that you keep showing up. Because when someone continues to show up to themselves, to their journey, to the place that they want to go, when you continue showing up to that, it means that your brain is consistently being imprinted by healthier ideas and healthier beliefs. And when you hang around healthier people, and you get these new experiences, you start realizing, you start adding to your encyclopedia, let's say. You now get experiences of what it's like to be close to a woman, or to be close to a man, or to communicate how you feel. You finally start seeing how all of that works, seeing that it's a bigger picture, it's a more grounded, balanced, mature picture. You know, so you can make all sorts of cool changes with your health and detoxing your emotions and finding some secure people and learning about yourself. But if you really don't have new experiences, then your body is going to continue to get stopped and stalled where kind of your experiences left off. You know, for example, in high school, I didn't learn much about conflict in high school. But high school and adolescence and those teen years, the experience that healthy people get is that they have conflict. They have conflict with their family. They have conflict with their friends. And they learn how it works out, how you still support one another through it, how you communicate in a graceful way, how you feel secure even though you're in conflict with somebody else, what conflict looks like, the ups and the downs and the throughs and the under. You know, you get a good experience, a good grounding in a healthy way to handle conflict. But if you didn't have those years, you know, let's say like me, I didn't have those years where I got that experience. Intellectually, I could only go so far. I could go, yeah, it's a great idea, it's a great theory. But when push came to shove, you know, I would go back to my old patterns because really I didn't have new experiences, new healthy experiences to help me overcome that fear, to help me overcome the ingrained beliefs about what a woman is supposed to look like, or relationships look like, or what will happen if we say something, what will happen if we set a boundary, how to handle it when someone pushes back, how to handle it when someone doesn't like it that we make changes or we're moving in a different direction. You were supposed to by now have those experiences so that when they happened as an adult, you knew how to handle them. You knew what it looked like to have a voice and to speak your truth, and how to handle somebody pushing back or being insensitive or self-absorbed. You would have had these skills because as you were growing up in a healthy environment, you would have learned these skills. You would have learned these and been in a good place. But you didn't. And so you still have to go through that learning process. You still have to have the messiness and the experiences and the, oh no, and the, oh my gosh, it turned out okay. And you still have to have all that newness. You got stuck and stalled at a place of growth, evolution, maturity, development in some areas of your life. You probably felt like you were an adult way before you needed to be. But there was time when you needed to be a child, when you needed to learn the things and have good guidance and have understanding about how the world really works, not just how the world works for people who are in a dysfunctional place, that it's a lot bigger than we think, a lot bigger than the news shows us. So the last thing you need to do before you think about leaving a narcissist is get your head and your nervous system in a good place. And the way you do it is you start taking small risks around the things that have always frightened you so that you can gain some self-esteem. Self-esteem is basically experience. Self-esteem is when you have enough experience with something and it turns out enough times and you failed enough times and you've looked at it enough times that you're like, yeah, I got a handle on this. I know how to do laundry. This is kind of what it looks like. You know what? It's the same things with relationships. You learn in small ways with safe people, in experiences that you have a high probability of success so that you can learn how to navigate these things. You can start to get the new experiences and the new ideas that you need in order to be successful, in order to live a great life on the other side of the narcissist, in order to create the life that you're looking for, one that's peaceful and joyful and fits your needs and collaborative and caring and compassionate and creative and synergistic. I know that's what you're looking for. And allowing yourself to have these new experiences of health and happiness, to expose yourself to new ideas of what it really looks like, boots on the ground, not just theoretically, but what does it look like to set a boundary in real life? What does it look like to speak? What does it look like to get angry? What does it look like to stay confident and calm? And how do you do that? You need some experiences with that, and that's where I come in. That's where I help women get those experiences, get the tools that they need, the information that they need, the security that they need, the wisdom that they need in order to really change what their life looks like. Because you don't have to be trapped and stuck with a narcissist. There are ways out, and it does take some effort, and it does take some work, but it's not impossible. You know, possible to make a change, and it doesn't have to be a gigantic change. It can be small changes that you make, and because you're with somebody who maybe has a mental health disorder, or you're with somebody who's got a heart but can't control their emotions, or any number of thousands of circumstances, you'll find that you can make it easier. You can make it better by changing how you think, how you react, how you respond, how you feel, because the people around you start to pick that up. So the healthier you can get, the more balanced you can get, the more likely your relationships will be healthy and happy. The new ones and the old ones, they'll get a little healthier and happier, an easier way of dealing with it, okay? So what do I want you to do today? Today I want you to purposely expose yourself to something that you haven't before. My mentor would, if you don't know what to do, do something you've never done before. And why? Why? Because it gives you a new experience. It gives you new information. And now your brain and your heart and your nervous system have to expand to include this new information, to shift paradigms. And once your brain and your nervous system gets more comfortable and familiar with staying open and shifting directions and gathering new information and changing your mind and looking at the world through different eyes. The more flexible, the more you do these things, the more flexible your brain gets. And the more flexible you get, they're used to facing and doing something anyways. When your brain and more self-esteem, start using, you start, you're more important. Now you're in a better position to handle, because you've got some experience about what conflict looks like, or what self-esteem looks like, or how to make yourself feel better, or how things aren't as scary as you think, or that the world's bigger than you thought it was. You start to grow into a more mature, balanced, peaceful, loving human being, because the world is a lot bigger than you think. But the only way you're going to start moving in that direction is by getting new experiences and getting exposed to new ideas over and over and over, like these live streams. So congratulations. Do something today that's outside of your comfort zone, that gives you a new experience, so that you have to shift and grow, and your mind has to get used to shifting and growing. That's all I want you to do today, this weekend. And if you feel stuck, I do a coaching group, which I'm now in charge of filling, and so I'm going to be encouraging you to be a part of that group, because being a part of a coaching group is a wonderful, wonderful experience. We're keeping it like really affordable, like $150 or something. And if that isn't a fit for you, if you aren't ready for something like that, then give me a call. We'll do a strategy call. We'll come up with a game plan. We'll figure out where you want to go, how you're going to get there, the resources available, including me, and really start to help you make the change you want to make in your life, okay? So have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. I know I will. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. Talk to you later.